Good morning, students. I am Feroz Khan from Social Welfare, Chilkur COE, HRR West. Here, children, had your breakfast today? What breakfast did you have? Yeah, some of you may have idli, some of you might have taken dosa, some of you might have taken bread or anything which is served by your mom, right? Yeah. So here I have a piece of bread with me, a piece of bread with me. So all of you might have tasted the bread. Have you ever wondered how this softness, the softness of the bread and the pores, the hole like structures we can able to see? How this comes? Have you ever thought of? Okay, think about for a few seconds. Okay, children. So now close your eyes. Imagine what are the living organisms around you, you feel, you see every day. You find several plants, you find several animals, right? Many insects, wonderful birds flying, isn't it, children? Yeah. So not only these organisms which are visible for us, there are many organisms, living organisms which are not visible to our eye. What? Not visible? Yeah, yes, they are not visible for our naked eye. We need the help of a microscope. Through microscope only we are able to see them, right, children? Okay. So what are those organisms? So bacteria, okay, fungi, algae, protozoans, viruses, these are the different categories, examples of these small tiny organisms which cannot be seen directly with our eye, but can be seen only through a microscope. But now I am not able to bring you microscope today, but I got you a modern device, a very modern device, that is Foldscope. Children, this is called Foldscope. So this works like a compound microscope, magnifies the objects up to 400 times. So we can place a slide here. So you can place a slide, you can see here. So and we can observe through these lens, and this is what is called as a Foldscope. So this is helping our students to learn about microorganisms in our society. I can proudly say only our society is supplying our students with the help of TIFR. So we have an initiative. I am a trained teacher for working of Foldscope, right, children? So through these we can observe the microorganisms. Right now I am not showing, but I will show you on the PPT. Yeah. Well, children, so today let us look about microorganisms. We are going to learn about microorganisms, our friends or foes. Microorganisms are present everywhere. What? Microorganisms are present everywhere. So we can call they are omnipresent. Microorganisms are omnipresent. So they can be seen in the soil, in the water, in the air. So everywhere, on the bodies of plants and animals, also everywhere we can able to see. So we call omnipresent. So first of all, what are microorganisms? So microorganisms are not visible, they are very tiny, and they can be seen only through microscope, only through microscope. Yeah. So these are microorganisms. Now these microorganisms, whether they are our friends or whether they are our foes. Foes means nothing but enemies. That means whether they are useful for us human beings or whether they are harmful or dangerous for us. So are they useful or are they harmful? If how they are useful, how they are harmful, these aspects we are going to learn, children. Yeah, isn't it? Are you all fascinated to learn with me? Yeah, come again. Well, so let us see how the microorganisms are useful. So here we have a PPT in front of us. Useful microorganisms. The first use of microorganisms, curdling of milk. The first use is curdling of the milk. So, this is helped by a bacteria called Lactobacillus. And secondly, so there is another microorganism, so the by name yeast, commercially very useful. Yeast is a unicellular fungus, children. Okay, unicellular fungus made up of a single cell, and it is very much useful in the baking, brewing. All of you like baked foods, right? So, cakes, pizza, burger, now and then you want the junk, isn't it? Okay. So, with our junk food is not possible, any puff or any pizza without this yeast. Even our idli, dosa, bread also not possible without this yeast. Then microorganisms are very useful for us in production of medicines called antibiotics and vaccines. Antibiotics and vaccines. And microorganisms also help in improving soil fertility. They improve the fertility of the soil, helping the farmers and agriculture. And finally, in the nitrogen fixation also microorganisms are playing crucial role. So, these are the main usefulnesses of our microorganisms. Now, let us see curdling of the milk, the first one, how it is useful. Curdling of milk. Yeah. So, milk, you take lukewarm milk, a bowl of lukewarm milk. Everyone knows how to make the curd. Have you observed your mom making curd? So, we take a bowl of lukewarm milk. Lukewarm means not very hot, not very cold, slightly warm, that is called lukewarm. Okay. And we add 1 spoon or half spoon of curd or buttermilk, curd or buttermilk to this. Then, so after 5 to 6 hours, when we are adding the curd or buttermilk, we are inoculating the bacteria. This bacteria is nothing but Lactobacillus. This is also known as lactic acid bacteria. Lab in short we call lactic acid bacteria. So, it is scientifically called Lactobacillus. These are the rod shaped bacteria present in the curd, right. So, this is helping in the curdling of the milk. Here we see how this Lactobacillus bacteria will be present. So, this is the Lactobacillus bacteria. Here we see the blue or violet colored rod shaped bacteria, children, right. Yeah. So, these are the bacteria which are present in our curd or buttermilk. They are only helpful commercially for making the curd or buttermilk. It is very good for our health. We have a lot of probiotics and vitamins essential for our health in maintaining good health. So, Indians are very much fond of curd and buttermilk, right, or food. Yeah. So, here we go for the next aspect. Yeah, children, when we see the second use of the microorganisms, we are learning the usefulness, right. So, yeast is very important organism. How is this yeast useful? First of all, yeast is unicellular fungus, unicellular fungus. So, this when we observe under microscope, it looks like something like this, and it multiplies by budding, a process called budding. This yeast is very much important in our baking and brewing industries. Baking means in the making of the bread, in the making of the cakes, puffs, pizza, all burger, your buns, all these they are made up of the yeast is inoculated in the dough. So, we mix the yeast in the dough, then only we can get that soft and bulged nature, spongy nature for the cake or the bread. Yeah. So, and yeast is also equally important in brewing. Yeast is helpful for brewing. What is this brewing actually? So, brewing is nothing but commercial production of alcohol. All our government revenue mostly depend on alcohol, and without yeast there is no alcohol. Alcohol not only in making the alcoholic drinks, but also for making of medicines also alcohol very important. So, the after water, alcohol is the chief industrial solvent. So, we produce from maize, barley, different items we use for the yeast. So, here I will show you how the yeast is useful. So, see here children. So, you can see here yeast is useful for the baker. So, all the bakeries they depend on the yeast powder. So, commercially useful yeast powder will be available, and this is used by your baker for making the bread, cakes, pizzas, burgers, buns, all your most of the junk which is available in your bakery, which is tasty for you and appealing for you. Yeah. So, this is the yeast microorganism. It is a fungus. Under microscope we can able to see like this. And as I told you, yeast, you can see here fermentation process. Alcohol is being produced by adding yeast. You can see the bubbles rising. Okay. So, this process of making the alcohol by using the yeast, we call this process as fermentation. We call fermentation. Alcohol production by the yeast is called as fermentation. Okay. So, well, so here we go for the third important use. So, medicines are very valuable things we are getting from the deriving by microorganisms. Okay. So, two types of medicines we get from microorganisms. First type we call antibiotics, and the second type we call vaccines. Antibiotics and vaccines. So, you might have observed whenever you got some infection, okay, or some injury, a little bit bigger injury, doctors will give you tablets, capsules, injections, so which are nothing but the antibiotics. So, they prevent any infection or disease in your body. Similarly, vaccinations, you might have heard the small babies given vaccines from the day one they are born. In different stages, they will be given different types of vaccines, polio vaccine, DPT vaccine, okay. So, BCG vaccination process you have heard about. These are also valuable medicines which prevent the disease. Antibiotics are the main important medicines which are useful to kill the bacteria. So, they kill bacteria and they also prevent infection. They also prevent infection, children. Okay. So, antibiotics are the medicines. So, let us see the story of these antibiotics and vaccines. So, antibiotics were discovered in the 20th century by a famous scientist, Alexander Fleming. Who? Alexander Fleming. So, Alexander Fleming, he invented the antibiotics in 1920s, in the late 1920s. Alexander Fleming. And the first antibiotic invented by Alexander Fleming is, the name of the antibiotic is penicillin. Penicillin. Okay. So, this penicillin antibiotic, it is derived from a fungus, it is produced from a fungus by name Penicillium. The fungus name is Penicillium and the antibiotic name is after the fungus name, that is why it is penicillin. Later, so we got many other antibiotics, okay. So, streptomycin, erythromycin, erythromycin, okay, aureomycin. This aureomycin antibiotic is invented by a Indian doctor, Dr. Yellaprakada Subba Rao, Telugu doctor, very famous. Aureomycin, this is also called tetracycline. Tetracycline. Discovery of antibiotics is a milestone achievement in the medical science, children. Okay. After the discovery of these antibiotics only, the First World War soldiers' lives, lakhs of the soldiers' lives have been saved by our scientists, okay, by these antibiotics. At the same time, Yellaprakada Subba Rao, this tetracycline is very important in the treatment of plague and other very deadly diseases, which once upon a time very dangerous and life threatening diseases. So, here we have the pics of the great scientist Dr. Alexander Fleming, who invented the antibiotics, and Dr. Yellapregada Subbarao, so who invented tetracycline or aureomycin. Salutes and hats off to these great scientists for their worthy contribution for us. Now let us see the next aspect, that is vaccination. So vaccine is given as a prevention. Before we get the disease, it is given. So mostly vaccinations are given to prevent the viral diseases and also bacterial diseases. So the first vaccination was successfully invented by Dr. Edward Jenner. So the process of giving the vaccinations mostly in the form of injections, this process is called vaccination. So this was identified by Edward Jenner in 1790s, so way before the antibiotics. Then two more great scientists here we have, children. Dr. Jonas Salk, who invented the polio vaccine, Dr. Albert Sabin, who invented oral polio vaccine. All of you know government is giving polio drops. So these polio drops is a vaccine to prevent the polio disease. Okay, so this polio is a deadly viral disease. So this oral polio vaccine without pain for the children, so it is given any just born baby to 5 years children, anyone. So once or twice in a year, and a mass immunization program campaign is given in our country. So the credit goes for oral polio vaccine to Dr. Albert Sabin. So these are the two great scientists behind the polio vaccine. Now polio is totally eliminated from the world and in our country because of the greatness of these two scientists. Yeah. So here let us see how the microorganisms are helping in the soil fertility. Already I told you microorganisms even help for the improving the fertility of the soil. Yes, in the soil many useful microorganisms will be present which naturally provide the nutrients which are required for the plant growth and development. So they provide nutrients for plant growth and development. Here we have different types of bacteria or cyanobacteria we call blue green algae also, so which are helping in improving the soil fertility, increasing soil fertility, improving the fertility of the soil. Fertile soil is very essential to grow our food crops, isn't it, children? Yeah. So here we have a bacteria by name Nostoc Anabaena, okay, and cyanobacteria. These cyanobacteria, also called as blue green algae, they provide nitrogen, which is a very important element in the plant growth. So they provide nitrogen. Where they are found? They are found in the soil itself. So they are found in the soil and they supply nitrogen for the crop plants. Okay, children? Okay. So here we will see the Nostoc Anabaena. So these are the slides. So this is a slide of Nostoc made with the Foldscope, and this is Anabaena, a chain like bead like a green algae we can able to see, and here we have blue green algae which looks like beaded filaments. So they are also called cyanobacteria or blue green algae. So they are helping in improving the fertility of the soil, children. Okay. So now let us go for the last aspect, so that is nitrogen fixation. So some of the microorganisms, they are present in the root nodules of legume plants. They are present in the root nodules of legume plants, legume family plants. So all of you know groundnut or beans. So all these are legume plants. If you observe their roots, so the roots will have tiny bulb like structures which are called as the root nodules. So in these root nodules, there are nitrogen fixing bacteria, symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria called as rhizobium, Rhizobium bacteria is present in the root nodules of legume plants. So this association we call it as symbiosis, living together, helping each other. So legume plant is giving food and shelter for the rhizobium, and rhizobium is supplying the nitrogen for the legume plants. Okay. So this association, this living relationship is called symbiosis. Sym means together. Biosis means living together, right? So here children, so now we have covered the useful aspects of the microorganisms. So now let us see. So already I told you, so how it is useful in the, so let us see how the yeast is prepared, is helpful in the preparation of the bread. So here, so yeast, this is the dough. Dough means the soft watered and oiled added sugar and yeast. So this is the dough. After adding yeast, after 1 or 2 hours if you keep, it is increasing in volume. So it is rising in the volume. So this is because of the yeast. So this is used in preparation of the bread or the bakery. Understand, cakes and bread preparation, this is used. Okay children, right. So here we have a fungus I brought you for you. This is a mushroom. So it's likely to rain. Actually when it open, it looks like an umbrella. This is an unopened. So this button will open and all the spores will be there. Here you may get a doubt, how this mushroom can be a microorganism. So it is visible to us. Yes children, but to study its structure, how it is reproducing, how it is growing, we need the help of microscope. Without microscope, not possible for us. Okay, yeah. So well, now shall we learn the harmful aspects of the microorganisms children? Harmful aspects of microorganisms, that means the first friends how they are, we learnt. Now how they are force for us, how they are harmful and dangerous for us, in what way, let us see. So microorganisms are equally harmful by causing several diseases and infections for us. So they are organisms mainly responsible for causing the diseases. Okay, so let us see how it is. So harmful microorganisms, so causing diseases in the humans and diseases in the plants and animals. Microorganisms, some of them, they will cause diseases in the animals as well as crop plants also. And microorganisms are chiefly responsible for spoilage of food. For spoilage of the food, they are very much spoiling our food. Food means definitely it is a harmful aspect. Just like a coin has 2 sides, heads and tails, microorganisms, many of them they are very useful for us, few of them they are harmful in the notion of causing diseases and spoiling our food. So here for the spoilage of our food, we have a very important, very notorious bacteria that is called Clostridium botulinum. You can see here these greenish or the purplish bacteria, rod shaped bacteria, you can see these are the Clostridium botulinum, which is responsible for food spoiling, food poisoning or botulism. You all know meat, cooked food, or fish or egg, they will spoil. All these are perishable food items. So we have to consume within few hours, otherwise they get spoiled. And if you eat the spoiled food, what will happen? You all know. So we suffer from food poisoning or botulism. So that's why, so we always prefer fresh and healthy food, right? So what are the diseases causing in the humans? Now let us see. So the first one, the diseases we can classify. Diseases they are causing in humans, microbes. Disease causing microorganisms, they are called pathogens. Disease causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Pathos means diseases. Okay, so these disease causing microorganisms can be 3 types we can say. Okay, so first one, bacterial diseases. Okay, bacterial diseases, and we also suffer from viral diseases. If the pathogen is a virus, then it is a viral disease. And we also have mostly protozoan diseases. They are also single celled organisms. So protozoans, bacterial diseases, viral diseases and protozoan diseases. So if you take a few examples of the bacterial diseases, typhoid. Typhoid is a very common bacterial disease. Tuberculosis, which we call TB. Understand? So pneumonia, typhoid, TB, septicemia, all these are various examples of the bacterial diseases. Another common disease we suffer, cholera. So this is also spread by the houseflies, you know. Okay, so they are also the pathogen is a bacteria, Vibrio cholera. Similarly, typhoid is caused by a bacteria called Salmonella typhi. Okay. Similarly, let us see the viral diseases. So, viral diseases are also very common. We observe the viral diseases. The most common cold. All of us, we suffer from running nose, throat infection and all, sometime or the other. So, this common cold is one of the viral infections chiefly we suffer. Then polio, AIDS, okay, and swine flu. Okay. Then the present corona, which is caused by COVID-19. All these are the viral diseases examples. Coming to the protozoan diseases, we have mainly malaria. Malaria is the most important, the protozoan disease, which is caused by a protozoan parasite by name. Okay. So, Plasmodium. Malaria is caused actually by Plasmodium. Most of you will be mistaken, malaria caused by the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are the vectors, they spread the disease. This Plasmodium will be spread through mosquitoes. That is why mosquitoes play important role in the transmission of malarial disease from an infected patient to a healthy person. Understood, children? Okay. So, these are the diseases. So, bacterial diseases, viral diseases, protozoan diseases. So, broadly I have told in a very simple way. So, lot of details will be there for each of these diseases. So, not only diseases caused in the humans, diseases also can be caused in the plants, crop plants, okay, and animals, poultry, cattle, they also suffer from bacterial diseases, viral diseases like us. Okay. So, if you take the plants, so in the groundnut ticca disease is a common example. Similarly, citrus canker. So, on the citrus lemon fruit, so we find black spots. So, these are spots which are caused by a bacterial infection, that is called citrus canker. Citrus canker. Similarly, animals, the best example we can see, foot and mouth disease. Foot and mouth disease. Foot and mouth disease. So, this is very common in the livestock, that is cattle, buffaloes, cows, and the goat and sheep, all these they are caused. And finally, so already we discussed about the spoilage of the food. So, food is spoiled because of different microorganisms. So, it will be spoiled both by mostly bacteria as well as fungi also. So, you see the growth of the molds, white growth molds, so on the surface of the vegetables and the fruits, isn't it, children? Okay. So, here today we learnt about microorganisms, how they are useful, how they are harmful for us. So, if you see the usefulness, so they are useful in the curdling of the milk, making of the alcohol and baking process, and in the preparation of medicines, antibiotics and penicillin, antibiotics and vaccines, and also in the fertility maintenance. Understand? So, maintaining soil fertility and useful in the nitrogen fixation. Coming to the harmful aspects, we discussed about the diseases caused by different microorganisms in the humans, in the plants, and in the domestic animals. And also we discussed the spoiling of the food material. So, we discussed also spoiling of the food material. So, here we come to the project of today's. So, here is your project work, children. So, very interesting. You can see here a visit nearby primary health center or PHC, or you can meet a ASHA worker if PHC is not available near to you, and collect information about Mission Indradhanush. So, this is a program about mass vaccination in our country. You can see a poster here regarding the Mission Indradhanush. Okay. So, you collect information how these vaccines are given, what type of vaccines are given children, and this is second phase is going on, first phase up to 2020. So, we are now entering into the Mission Indradhanush second phase. So, you collect as much information from ASHA worker, definitely will give you lot of information. So, you prepare a report with your collected information. And the second one, prepare 2 to 4 slogans about Mission Indradhanush program. So, you prepare 2 2 to 4 slogans, attractive slogans. So you can prepare posters, slogans. You are very creative. So you children are very creative, I know that. Yeah. So before we wind up, so let us come to the environment. So all of you try to prepare a compost in your home, children. Okay. Soil loves compost. Here is a picture. This is a International Compost Awareness Week from May 3rd to May 9th, 2020 it was celebrated, but due to the situation and pandemic around, so this is has not become so much popular this year. Okay, so every year it is celebrated, so we can prepare the compost in the home, right? So this compost we can prepare in a small cardboard box, or you can dig a small make a hole in pit in your home in one corner, and you can put all the vegetables, waste vegetables, spoiled food items, no plastics, no glass, no metal items. Then after few weeks, if you sprinkle some water, after few weeks we get the compost. You add this to the garden plants. So all of you will try this, isn't it? Okay boys? Okay girls? Right. So here we wind up our session for today. We shall continue with a lively session. I thank our secretary sir, team biology, MRDT ma'am, Shashi ma'am, George sir, and all my official dignitaries, so for giving me this opportunity to teach online for our beloved students. So thank you. Stay home, stay safe.